In the midst of an energy transition, owning generation assets is not a set and forget proposition. In this video, I'm going to focus on solar farms. While PPAs and bankable power price forecasts may have shaped the project's early revenue expectations, markets evolve quickly, and so should your strategy. From falling capture prices to shifting marginal loss factors to increasing curtailment by the system operator, the commercial performance of a solar asset can diverge quickly and significantly from original expectations. For our asset owners, this can mean regularly reassessing not just revenue outcomes, but the core levers available to improve them. That might include revisiting offtake structures, evaluating the opportunity from merchant exposure, and increasingly considering the role of co-located battery storage to capture value from volatility, mitigate curtailment, both economic and physical, or unlock new revenue streams. In this video, I'm going to step through what this might look like for the owner of a solar farm in Australia's NEM. This is a market with around 10 gigawatts of utility scale solar and over 20 gigawatts of rooftop solar. And this is no coincidence, it's a market with a huge amount of negative wholesale pricing. Solar capture prices, the volume weighted average price for utility scale solar generation in the wholesale market, has been falling steadily over the last few years. For most regions, it's now regularly lower than the cost of producing that energy, reflected here as LCOE and shown on the chart in pink, and in some months is even negative, shown in red. That in turn drives the need for economic curtailment, meaning asset owners turn generation down or off to avoid selling at a loss. So, what might a solar farm owner do about it? To explore that question, we're going to use a real solar farm in Victoria as our modelling lab rat. In this case, it's Glenrowan, a 30 megawatt asset located next to the Hume Freeway, north of Melbourne. In real life, Glenrowan has a 10-year PPA with the Victorian government, details of which are not publicly available, but for this exercise we're going to assume it's market exposed. You might consider this fair value for the asset owner. So, the solar farm will earn the wholesale price plus LGC revenue, in this case at $40 per certificate. We're modelling the last 12 months of performance from the 1st of August 24 to 31st of July 25. In our baseline scenario, we're going to use the actual output from Glenrowan for the last 12 months. To do this, we're using the feeds feature within GridCog, which automatically collects data on operational asset performance, in this case from the system operator. This is useful, but it only tells us what the solar farm exported to the grid after any economic or physical curtailment, not what it was actually capable of producing. It's the available generation that we need if we want to properly understand the impact of curtailment and the upside potential of adding storage. So for scenario 2, we'll model that. This time, rather than using the actual generation, we'll use the solar asset within GridCog, configured to match the physical specs of the actual solar farm, to create a modelled output. We benchmark and calibrate our models all the time, and in this case we're within about 2% of AEMO's published data. Next, we're going to add some storage, simulating the addition of a 50 megawatt battery. In fact, we're going to test a couple of durations, looking at both 2 and 4 hour. And for each battery size, we're also going to model the upside from ancillary markets, using current settings for market saturation, and in the case of regulation markets, for energy utilisation. Looking at the modelling results, we estimate the actual asset would have generated revenues of about $14 million over the last 12 months, with the majority of that coming from LGCs. Adding a 2-hour battery would have doubled the revenue, and that includes a 4x increase in wholesale value. Doubling the battery duration to 4 hours delivers an extra 50% to the revenues compared to our 2-hour battery, for a capex increase of only about 45%, speaking to the sweet spot for storage durations trending up. What this analysis illustrates is that planning for solar assets isn't a one-time job. Whether it's falling capture rates, increasing physical curtailment, or changes to policy or market settings, the need to review, retest and re-optimize is stronger than ever. At the same time, grid connection capacity is one of the most valuable and limited resources in the energy transition. If you've secured a connection, making the most of it matters. That means maximising utilisation, improving revenue per megawatt, and ensuring the asset can flex to the market, not just feed into it. With GridCog, you can model these trade-offs and opportunities as they emerge. Till next time.